I had to be strong. I had to, God show me how to walk, order my steps. I live those words. Show me how to talk. Show me how to live. I had to live that thing. It was during COVID. Brenee was doing wonderful. She was working at Kohl's, had a job, had a boyfriend, doing regular stuff a 29-year-old, 30-year-old would be doing. And G and I started noticing signs of Brenee having problems. And it sort of was happening the same way Marve's situation happened. She started having problems walking. And we like, nah, this not happening. So we would get her up and we'll take her to the backyard and we'll be walking the backyard. We'll go outside and we'll walk the cul-de-sac. But she was having a hard time. And we like, this can't be happening. So I took her to the doctor, and once again, oh, it's just anxiety. So they put her on some medicine for anxiety. But she still was having problems walking. I said, this is more. And then that's when she started experiencing the muscle tightness. And she was starting to experiencing not even being able to stand anymore hardly on her own. And I said, this is more. And I can recall Gianni and I just looking at each other in fear, scared. We were, I'm not gonna lie. And we were like, this cannot be happening again. And Brenee even noticed. She was like, Mama, you know, what's going on? What's going on with me? She knew something was happening, but it was out of her control. It was out of my control. And so we didn't announce it to people yet because we were already starting to take her to doctors, and Brenee didn't want people to know. So I had a girlfriend who started early on helping me at home with Brenee. But we knew something was going on.
So now the journey begins. Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. And I can imagine that maybe this go around was probably a lot harder for you.
Huh?
I said I can imagine this go around was probably a little bit more harder.
It was way more harder because with Brenee, what happened with her, it happened so quickly. Like she was going down so quickly. And then there was COVID. So doctors really didn't want you coming in. They wanted video, or they wanted to just throw you some medicine versus really trying to find out what was going on with her. So it was just so much. And I remember she started getting sick and sick and sick. And I started noticing she was getting like a little bed sore. It wasn't deep or anything yet, but I just noticed the pink skin. And by this time, the doctor had ordered her physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech at home. And the nurse suggested us to go to Memorial Hermann. Hey, let them look at this. Let's see what's going on, because we don't want this to get worse. Brenee walked into the hospital. They diagnosed Brenee. Then they were saying, look like she might be having some signs of stiff person syndrome. Mind you, she walked into the hospital. From that day of going to just go see a pigmentation of what looking to be almost a bed sore forming, Brenee was in the hospital for 146 days. She walked in and she didn't walk out. Normal.
And that started a journey of 146 days. Go home, and the next time was how many? The next time was how many days or how many weeks?
We almost lost Brenee twice in that 146 days at Memorial Hermann. Then she spent another about 40, 50 days at Kindred. Then they sent her back to Memorial Hermann. She did probably another 20-something, 30 days. And they literally sent her home to die.
And you still coming to rehearsal. Or you were still coming to church. Still coming to rehearsal. I mean, Gianni was in the media team at the time, so you was bringing her there. Like, you were trying to keep some form of normalcy, a routine for you guys, even while going through this.
I was trying to keep some kind of normalcy, but there's no normalcy no more. Because during COVID, you have to remember, they weren't even allowing people to stay with their loved ones.
Right.
So, Brenee was autistic. She couldn't explain herself. She couldn't explain many of her pains, her aches, or, certain things. So now I'm having to fight with the hospital to stay with my daughter by her side. And that was a challenge. Like, those people called the police on me so many times. I'm laughing about it now, but like, it was serious. Like, I remember one time, I told them I was leaving. I need some rest. I'm going to go home real quick. I'm going to sleep for a few hours. I'm coming home. I get a call that my daughter almost coded and was in shock. I said, what do you mean? She's, she almost coded and she's now in a state of shock. Oh, yeah, we had to put a feeding tube down her nose because she wouldn't eat. I'm like, what? So I rush up to Memorial Hermann. I get there. First, I have to fight with the people in the front because it's like so late and you're not supposed to be there. It's after hours. Girl come telling me you can't go up, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, me and her going back and forth because I'm like, ma'am, she's autistic. They told me I could come. Please, can I just get up to my daughter? This lady fought me so hard. Before you know it, just trying to stand my ground, I was approached by 8 police. For me. And I'm like, it's already been approved. So I had to be embarrassed in front of my daughter. Gianni was probably about 14, 15. She's scared to death. Like, is her mama going to jail? Then when they get the story that Brenee is autistic, she's in shock. Oh, we so sorry. Sorry you had to go through that. But you done delayed me already for about an hour or two. I get upstairs. My baby has a feeding tube down her nose that was too big, which is why she went in shock because the feeding tube wasn't the right size for her body size at the time. So she's in state of shock. They can't get blood pressure. They couldn't get anything normalized. So next thing you know, they rush her to ICU. And I'm like, who told y'all to put the feeding tube down her nose? But because she wouldn't eat, they felt they had the right. So now I'm having confrontation with the nurses, with the doctors, fighting for my daughter. Cops called again. And mind you, irate to where I'm using profanity. I'm just standing my ground of how you're going to treat my daughter and why did you do it. Mm-hmm. And the cop, he laughs again like, oh, that's Miss Mary. We know she's here. What did y'all do? So they had to explain. And he's like, well, she's not going anywhere. She don't want the doctor in there. She wants another doctor. Y'all going to have to give her another doctor. It was such a fight for my daughter's life. People have no idea. Then this go round, her daddy was home. So he was home from jail. He was free. I'm trying to get him to come visit her. I'm thinking it's going to be a normal visit because she's having to have blood cleansed out of her body. And I'm prepping him to visit his daughter. I'm worried because he hadn't seen her sick. Instead, he at the hospital telling the nurses and doctors that I'm killing his child. I'm poisoning her. Can you check and see if her mom's killing her? Because he didn't understand what was going on. He didn't want to know. He didn't want to learn. He didn't believe in science. He didn't believe in medicines. He didn't believe in doctors. So after his visit, I'm approached by the hospital nurses. I'm approached by staff who's not running poisonous tests on my daughter. And they're supposed to, you know. Of course, they didn't find anything. And so I'm like, so now that y'all see that none of this is true, can you get back to taking care of my daughter? But it was such a fight, just a fight for her life. I mean, like, this is real stuff. This is what I was going through. But people just seeing a smile. People seeing me still come in the church, sitting in the back, just preach to me, give me some words so I can get stronger. And that's what I had to do to make it. I had a friend who was a CNA who would help me and tell me what to say. I had a friend who was a respiratory therapist who would help me, tell me what to say. I had Mama Barbara, who was an RNA, helping me, walking me through it, telling me what to say. God surrounded me with angels to help me fight because I wasn't strong enough on my own. And then I had a prayer warrior friend who helped me. Then out of the blue, I remember one time a lady saw my story on Facebook. She just shot me some money to pay for parking. After I announced I had been there 146 days. Imagine paying for parking every single day for that many days. It was crazy. Like, I made it look easy, but it was so hard.
So, fast forward, I think it was probably a few weeks before Brenee died. You was like, Jason, just pray for my family. But you was like in such a good place, seemingly. I think you had kind of made peace that whatever it is that God wants to do, you was okay with it.
I had to make peace. God put me in a position where this go round, yes, I had a few people to come care for Brenee, but this go round, God gave me personal time. When I say personal time, I couldn't work. I walked away from a career at the height of my career. A lot of people might not see it as a lot of money, but I walked away from a $120,000 job to zero.
Which at that time, if you compare it to now, we talking about 180, 200,000 now in that career field.
I had zero coming in. I had to pull from 401k that I had left. I had monies in various accounts. I had made some smart investments. And then I had a friend to undergird me who said, I got you. But I had 0 coming in. And I had to do this on my own. I had to be the caregiver. I had to turn her. I had to feed her. I had to change her. I had to make her bed. I don't think I slept for over a year, because this was from sun up to sundown.
Was it every 4 hours you had to get up or something like that?
Yeah, it got to a point because she had a wound that just would not heal. It'll heal, then open up again. Heal for a little bit, then open up again. And so it was, I had to turn her so it wouldn't get worse. So it was on a 4 to 6 hour rotation. And then when it started getting towards the end, she knew she was transitioning. So Brenee would say little things, like the God in her would say little things. Oh, wee mama, look at God. Look, God gave you another baby. He gave you Gianni. I'm like, yeah. She said, imagine if you didn't have Gianni. You would have been here by yourself. I'm like, Brenee, why are you saying that? She said, because I'm not going to be here, mama. It's like she was preparing me. And then I remember one time she had a dream and she was just laughing. I'm like, Brenee, what are you laughing at? She said, Marve. I said, what do you mean, Marve? She's like, man, Marve keep telling me, girl, you need to come on here. I got a job for you up here for you to do. I'm like, what? She keep telling me she has a job for me up in heaven to do. And I'm telling her, girl, I'm coming. It's just like she would have conversations. If you knew my kids were, they were people who would express themselves, and they always would talk, and if they had dreams, they could explain it. And she explained it, and I'm like, okay. She would just, that's when God taught me not to be in fear of death. It was beautiful. The conversations I would have with her, the things she would share with me. I mean, she even explained to me what she wanted to have on, the color. She was getting me ready.
Sound like your daughter. Sound like something you would do.
Yeah, she was getting me ready. And Jason, it was so hard. Because a lot of people don't know, but I tried to take Brenee to her end at home by myself. They send you a nurse for a little bit, but since COVID, now hospice at home means you are the hospice nurse. So I had to administer the morphine. I had to administer the anxiety medication. I had to administer the blood pressure medicines. I had to do that. And when you know your daughter's health is failing and deteriorating, I'm lying if I didn't get overwhelmed. I'm lying if I'm saying that I didn't get scared. I'm human. I did. And I remember one day the nurse from hospice came. Her name was Nurse Jamie. And I was a nervous wreck. She said, Miss Mary, what's wrong? I said, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to take her to her end. I'm trying. She said, let us take her to her end. And I said, no. I can do it. She said, what are you scared of? Why are you trying to do this yourself? And you know you can't do this. And I was so worried about what people would say about me as a mama. She didn't even keep her to it. Yeah. But they weren't in my shoes. I had no more fight in me. And I remember that day I was at a paranoia. Every time I closed my eyes, I was like, oh my God, I forgot to turn her. Oh my God, I forgot to give her a medicine. Oh my God, it was just a nervous wreck. And Miss Jamie was like, did Marvay die in this house? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, you can't do this a second time. She said, give your baby to us and let us help you take her to her end. And I remember just falling in her chest, crying, surrendering, because I couldn't do it. Even though I wanted to. I had to think about myself. I had to think about Gianni having another sister die in the house. How would she be in his home again? And but God again. God is gracious. Normally it takes days for them to set that kind of stuff up. They had everything set up and my baby ready to go within hours. And so we took her to the IPU unit in the Woodlands for her to spend her last days.
So her last day was on a Sunday. And you talked about waking up. Like, come on, Brie.
Can I get Kleenex? Yeah, Kleenex back there. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Your plant.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, so this is one of the last day on a Sunday. And Brenee was a church girl. She was a church kid.
Yeah.
And so tell us about Sunday. Tell us about that day.
Actually, we came home Saturday night for a few hours because we had been there all day Saturday at the hospice place. Me, myself, Gianni, and my brother Lincoln. And they called me Sunday morning. And they said, Mary, we need you to come on. Her breathing has changed. I said, yeah. And we rushed out to the Woodlands, and sure enough, her breathing had changed. And I wanted them to make her a little bit more comfortable. So they gave her some oxygen. And I was like, Brenee, it's Sunday. May. I can't remember the date right now. And I said, we're going to have church. And everybody was like, what? I said, we're going to turn church on. We still going to have church. And I remember we turned on the live service. I think it was the second Sunday in May.
Yeah, because we was in Southeast.
Yeah. And it was Pastor Sion preaching that day. But it wasn't so much I remember so much of all of the message of the sermon. I just remember Kafia singing. And she was singing the blood that gives me strength from day to day. It would never lose its power. And as she was singing that song, Brenee breathing, she was just, it wasn't a fast, it was just a calming like breath. I said, oh, she hear it. She's worshiping. She's worshiping. And so my brother was like, turn it down. I said, no. Keep it where it is. Let her worship. And I never forget, Kafir was going all up and down the house. Never lose his power. His power. I mean, she was just going in. When I say she ushered in that song and ushered in the Holy Spirit, and my baby was just breathing. Just come. I said, she worshiping. She's praising. And I remember just touching her and singing and touching, singing. And we listening to the message. And I really thought maybe that would be some of her last breaths then. I thought I would be the person to free my baby, to allow her to transition. But I never forget, my nephew Chris came. He said, I'm on my way. I'm coming. I want to see her. Auntie, please, I'm coming. I said, come on. And my nephew came, and we call him a little preacher anyway, even though he hasn't professed to be. And Chris looked my baby in her eyes and said, you know what? You don't have to stay here no more. Go on and go with your sister. Go on and go with my mama. That's where you want to be anyway. But he said, you know what, Brenee? You have been the best cousin you could be. You have done what you were supposed to do right here on earth. Now go ahead and go home. And I thought I was her releaser. I really did. I thought I would be the person to release my baby to go home. But Chris just kept saying, it's well. You can go. You can go. And so her breathing started again, fast. And it was getting late. And I was like, I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to be here. But I was having such a nervousness about me that the nurse was like, Miss Mary, go home. If something happened, we'll call you. And I said, no, I'm going to stay. They said, no, go home. If something happened, we're going to call you. And I went home. I think I was home about an hour. And within an hour, I got the call that Brenee had passed. But I really don't think Brenee would have passed had I stayed. I think my baby loved me to the bitter end, to where she didn't want me to see her take her last breath. That's why I tell you, all up in this thing, I know that God was good and God was gracious in his way.
I remember when you talked, and I said it couldn't have never been the other way around, with the kids losing their mom. It had to be you in this situation, because they knew you were good. And leading up to all this stuff, like, you've lost Marvay, then you lost your sister.
6 months later.
6 months later. And then you lost your brother. Unexpectedly, what, a week or two?
February this year.
A few months before, Brenee.
Yeah. And I had to plan his memorial.
Wow. Still serving people.
And you spoke at his service.
Yeah. He was like, Jason, come. He was like, come. I need you to do something.
Right.
Because they need to be encouraged. They don't need to hear the traditional. They need to hear something that's going. I need you to speak to who my brother was.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
And so these are happening, and then I get the call. Brenee's gone on, and I remember you asked me. You said, Jason, if Pastor can't do it, will you do it?
Right.
And it's like you had to talk me up because I'm kind of like, what? Huh?
Well, I have such a wonderful, for real, Pastor Ken is something else. I never forget when I texted him and said that my baby had passed. He was actually boarding a plane, getting ready to board a plane. And he called me and he's like, what do you need? What do you need me to come to the hospital right now? What do you need? What? And I said, no, Pastor, she's already gone. And he's like, what? I'm like, she's already gone. And it was hard for him to hear those words as well. Because even he many times was like, man, you're one strong person. But I ain't had no choice but to be strong. Who else was going to take care of my girls? Who else was going to take care of my children? So I had to be strong. God showed me how to walk, order my steps. I live those words. Show me how to talk. Show me how to live. I had to live that thing. And I never forget when he told me he couldn't do it. I was like, Jason, you can do it. Yeah, it was a lot of other people I could have chosen. I was like, Jason can do it. And he did a great job. Yeah.
You was the ultimate cheat code. Thank God for it. Cause I remember
God took my baby out here on a Sunday.
Listen.
That's how aligned God was with my baby's spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And her worshiping herself out of here on a Sunday.
Sound like she got a head start to get in heaven.
Look here. You got to see the beauty, and you have to see how God worked and still moved in this thing. Many people don't even know. Like, I didn't even almost have my daughter's funeral.
Right. Even up to the day before, right?
No.
Even to the morning of.
The day before, coincidentally, my brother runs into their dad, and he was attacked by their dad. And a lot of people don't know this. And so I had to get a bodyguard. There was constables, regular police, everybody to protect me and my family and my daughter at my daughter's funeral. Like, I think that's when it finally hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I had gone through. How I had to hold myself up for so long to the world, to people, my family. And for their father to attack my brother out of nowhere. And I don't hate this man. I wished we would have been able to have a conversation like normal people potentially could have had when they lose a child. But I didn't get that. Instead, I got anger him still not understanding her illness and sickness. And I had to protect myself. I walked into my daughter's funeral with bodyguards. I had to protect me and Gianni because we had no idea if he would even do anything to us. And even though Brenee had one of the most beautiful services.
Amazing.
It was beautiful. I couldn't even love on the people who wanted to love on me at the time because the bodyguards, and it was real. They were so scared for my life. So even people coming close to hug me, they didn't understand what was going on. But it was real. But God still showed up. Mm-hmm. God had the final say. Mm-hmm. God still got the victory. And Brenee's service was beautiful. It was beautiful.
So now we're here. Simply Mary.
Now we to Simply Mary.
Simply Mary. And the focus of this place is to have those conversations.
Yeah.
Right? For people to tell their story, how they overcome.
Yeah.
Certain things, or even how they're still fighting and trying to figure this thing called life out.
Right.
And helping them navigate through these decisions, regardless of how the world sees it. And, you know, most people don't know that this is a gift that you have. You have an unbelievable gift to get people to see it from a different perspective. While hearing them out, they can still feel heard.
Yeah.
But your job, I feel, on this earth is to help push people through their destiny.
Look, Jason, God showed me so clearly, and it didn't take him long. That if you do not get up and live, share your experiences, share your testimony, be a voice for people who are afraid to express themselves and be honest about what they go through in grief, and the healing journey, how people treat them after losing a child or after losing a loved one. If you don't get up and live, God showed me that I would die in this thing. Like this was going to take me out. The sadness, the depression, the woe is me, my baby is gone. I knew this go round that I really had to live. You know how many times we say, oh, we're going to live, I'm going to keep going? God showed me, get up and live. Go help your friend that just lost her son. Go help your friend that's going through cancer. Go, y'all talk about this stuff. And then talking and having these conversations and stuff, real conversations, questioning God, being mad at God, real true feelings people have after grief, after diagnosis of illnesses, after you go through things in your family. People don't want to talk about it, or if they talk about it, people be thinking they're crazy, or, what's wrong with you? No, this really happened to me. This is how I really feel. But God brought me out. But I still believed God. I still trust God. I know it's nobody but God. Who could go through losing 2 daughters, a sister, a brother, all in the same time. And you still trust God. I'm not going to have it no other way. One thing I know, my mama gave me Jesus. That's the best gift she could ever give me. And her giving me Jesus, I understand the importance of me giving it to my children. Okay? And my kids were church girls. I'm okay with that. And now I'm just a mini Sister Provo, spreading the word, telling how good God is, how he brought me through, how he brought me over, how he's helping me as a mother, how he helped me through a divorce, how he's helping me in this life of dating again, friendships. I mean, life experiences. I mean, like they say, life is lifing. Life is lifing. But you know what? God is Godding. I heard that. I heard that. And while God is being God, I'm going to live. That's the choice I made. And many people don't understand it. Some people think it's fake. Some people may not think it's genuine. But I don't know no other way to be anymore. Because I'm sure not going to be down, disgusted and busted. Woe is me. That's not going to be me. You're not going to get that from me. You're not going to get that from me. You know, I live bigger than ever now. And I'm not talking about money. When God gives you joy, when God shows you that your light afflictions was but for a moment, it was just temporary, that there's still hope, that he will revive you, that he will restore you. He will give you everything you had, if not more. And you believe him and you know it's coming. Why wouldn't I be happy? Why wouldn't I be happy? And the thing is, I'm happy in knowing that God got me. I know he got me. And so, Simply Mary platform is for everybody. I mean, I have a friend who went through an accident, survived, ready to tell a story. I have friends who survived breast cancer twice. I'm going through challenges in my family, even now, of people who's battling cancer and survived it. Life is happening out here. And why hold all that in if we can help somebody? If we can help carry somebody through? I mean, God carried me through, and I know he's carrying you through, so why not share it? Why not share how you had to change your healthy ways in order to be healthier? You know, and that's why you're here today. It's just so much we are experiencing in life that we can help each other. And even though people always talk about, you know, they don't need each other, I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. I believe we need each other way more now, today, than we ever needed before. And so I'm a big fan of love. And that's what you're going to get from me. I'm not perfect. I mess up. We all do. But I promise you, at the end of the day, I'm going to try to fix it. I'm going to try to talk about it. I want to love through it. Life changed me. But it didn't change me to where I'm bitter. It changed me to where I have a joy in the Lord. I have a joy that I just want to help people. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it with real conversations, real talk, not cutting no corners, expressing ourselves. And that's what you're going to get from me with Simply Mary.
Simply Mary. Well, The journey begins, Mary.
The journey begins.
The journey begins.
It's a good journey.
I'm gonna tell you what episode I can't wait for.
Which one?
Grief.
Grief.
And forgiveness. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good one because we had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my favorite one.
Grief and healing.
Yep.
Um.
Don't give him too much.
Healing. So on this healing journey, I'll just say that during this healing journey, you all would get to take some trips with me to see how I was able to get to this other side of joy. Genuine, real joy. It's possible. It's real. You got to do the work. So come on along with me on this journey. I'm excited.
East Coast always in me, Commonwealth, Lil Jon, getting love from my city. Yeah. I roll call for the DMV. In my own lane, you could still ride with me. Yeah.
Lord knows I made mistakes.
You want in, but it's too late.
I don't need your support just to know I'm important.
I will never sell myself short, cause I know you see me on the come up. Big girl with big dreams.